Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap and I'm playing Battlefield 5. This is the retail version of the game. I bought it from the Origin store and it's the first game that comes with DXR support, so real-time ray tracing. I know a lot of people have been holding out on buying a new NVIDIA RTX graphics card to see what impact ray tracing and also eventually other features like DLSS actually have in games in real life, outside of just tech demos. So in this video, I'm going to show you the difference between DXR on and off in terms of the visuals and the performance impact, to see if it's really a big deal. Now, in order to actually play BF5 with DXR enabled for ray tracing, you'll need an NVIDIA RTX 2070, 2080 or 2080 Ti, as well as the latest October update of Windows 10, so that's version 1809, and the latest NVIDIA drivers. Then in Battlefield 5, go into the advanced graphic settings and enable DXR. You can then scroll down and see there's different levels of DXR: ultra, high, medium and low. And we'll look at the difference between these in a minute. And all my tests are done with ultra settings at Quad HD, so 2560 by 1440. Alright then, so let's start with performance, and it's not good. Your frame rate takes a massive hit when you turn on DXR. In a single player prologue, I was averaging 123 FPS without DXR, versus just 48 FPS with it enabled. That's more than halved my frame rate, which is crazy. We'll look more closely at the visual differences in just a second, although you can get a bit of an idea side by side here. In multiplayer, things are a little bit better, with higher frame rates across the board. Without DXR, I averaged 133 FPS, compared to 72 FPS with DXR on ultra, high or medium. Putting it on low boosted it up to 89 FPS, but even then that's still 44 FPS lower than without it. Now, turning DXR on and off involves restarting the game, so it's hard to get identical footage, but I can show you the difference between DXR on ultra and low. Now, my first impression was that, well, there's no difference at all. You may as well go with low since you get a better frame rate. But have a look at the changes between DXR on ultra, on high, medium, and low. So it seems high and medium don't do anything. There's no visual or frame rate change. But going down to low does look more like having DXR turned off, with much less natural lighting. But even on low, you can still see the reflections in puddles when you look down your sights, something that disappears when it's turned off. So the final question is DXR on versus off. Well, let's start with it off, and even without ray tracing, Battlefield 5 is a beautiful game. But then let's put them side by side, and already you can see a big difference in the lighting. Look at the gun and the rocks. That's the difference between the traditional global illumination lighting and the new real-time ray tracing lighting. Also, looking at the lamp, you can see the reflection on the wet crate with DXR. But when you're not concentrating on tiny little details, if I'm honest, it really doesn't look a whole lot different, aside from darker shadows with DXR. Look at the reflections in the puddle though. Granted, I'm not standing in exactly the same place, but there isn't much difference between them. However, look what happens when I aim down my sights at the reflections. With DXR, everything stays the same. On the left without it, the reflections completely disappear for some reason. So then, what do we think? Is DXR worth it? Well, firstly, I should say that the RTX graphics cards are the first generation to properly support real-time ray tracing. You simply can't enable it with a 10 series card. Secondly, this is the first game that's actually available to support it, with brand new DirectX and NVIDIA drivers required to use it. So with any bleeding edge tech, there will always be issues. There is a massive hit on frame rate, but hopefully this is something we'll see improve over time. Right now though, even with an RTX 2080 Ti, I won't be playing with DXR enabled. The performance cost is just too much for what is a fairly subtle difference in lighting. Don't get me wrong, it does look better and more natural with DXR on, but you simply don't notice it when you're actually playing the game and not just staring at reflections in puddles. Still though, if we ignore DXR, I am getting 130 FPS on ultra settings at Quad HD with the 2080 Ti, so that's pretty awesome by itself, and definitely will make use of a high refresh rate monitor. So what do you think then? Is DXR worth it? Can you see a big difference? let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, which I hope you did, click that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chap.